Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Virtual Storytime with Councilmember Will Jawando. Believe it or not, this is day 75 of Storytime, and it's a very special day. We've got multiple guests joining us today. You may see somebody that's already sitting next to me. I don't know if you see them, but this is Pedro, who's sitting right next to Mortimer. We didn't forget Mortimer. And they're hanging out, and he's here today along with another very special guest, Miss Cindy Douglas, who you'll meet in a moment. We're going to be reading a book that Pedro is featured in, and it's all about preparedness. And we're partnering today with the American Red Cross to make sure that we know how to be prepared when stuff happens, because stuff happens, right? We're living through stuff happening right now. What happens when the fire alarm goes off, and what do you do? And that's what we're going to learn about in Pedro in his handy book here, which is pretty big and pretty cool. Prepare with Pedro. We're going to read that. And so with me today to help me do that is Cindy Douglas, who's a volunteer with the Red Cross. Welcome to Storytime, Cindy. Thank you for helping us learn how to be safe.
Thank you.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more about, I know I said a little bit, but tell us a little bit more about what we're going to be learning today.
Thank you, Councilmember Jawando. Hi, everyone. My name is Cindy Douglas. I am a volunteer with the American Red Cross. One of the ways that the Red Cross helps people is during an emergency. And another one is teaching all of us how to be prepared for an emergency. An emergency is a time when something serious happens and immediate help is needed, like an earthquake, a tornado, or a fire. One way to prepare is through drills, like a fire drill that you have at school. Have you ever practiced a fire drill at school? Yes, we have. And it is an example of how to prepare for fires at school. I brought along a story and a friend, Pedro. He is very friendly. He is a penguin, and he knows how important it is to be prepared. This is Pedro, and Pedro's sitting over there with Council Member Jawando as well. If we follow along and see what he's learned, we can learn how to be prepared too. This is my friend Pedro.
All right, and we both got Pedro. He's able to be in two places at once, so that's pretty cool. All right, so we're gonna read this story, I think now, right? So yes. This story is called Prepare with Pedro. As you see, it's a very cool book that we both have, and we're gonna read it to you, along with probably a little help from Pedro. So let's go to the first page here. All right, and I'll start off. Hi, I'm Pedro. I'm learning how to prepare for emergencies. You see he's got his hat on, he's looking at various things. Prepare means get ready. You get ready for things all the time. Like when you put on a jacket and grab an umbrella to get ready for a rainy day. I want to be ready for any emergency. So I'm learning how to stay safe when emergencies happen. You can prepare for emergencies too. Just follow along. So Cindy, can you give us an example of an emergency? What's an example of emergency?
Yes, an example of an emergency is an earthquake that we have in certain areas of the United States. Another example is floods. We had a flood here a couple of weeks ago in certain areas in this city. So that's some of the examples of an emergency.
Maybe like the fires too that are happening out in the in California and in the West. That would be an example too, right?
Exactly. And today, the emergency that we're going to learn about is home fires.
Ah, okay. Well, so I'm hoping our audience is ready to check in and learn about home fires and what to do during those emergencies to calm down. So, are you all ready to prepare with Pedro? I think you are. Let's see what he's up to. Cindy, do you want to take the next page?
Okay. Before today, Pedro is going to show us what we can do to help be prepared. And so he's going to read the story to you and ask questions. Pedro heard a loud sound at his friend Mia's house. What's making that beep, beep, beep sound? He asked. We're testing our smoke alarm, said Mia. Come on in and see. And you see the big words at the top. What does these big words say at the top? Beep, beep, beep. That's the sound that a smoke alarm makes when there's smoke or fire. It looks like Pedro's going inside to see what Mia is doing. So let's follow along.
Beep, beep, beep. Kind of like that, right? It's usually
Right.
kind of scary and loud. All right, let's see what we've got going on. Let's see. Pedro's following me inside as we heard, and we're gonna see what happens.
So as Pedro goes inside, he sees that Mia's mom tests her smoke alarm, and the smoke alarm is being tested once a month. And guess what I have here? A smoke alarm.
Oh my!
It should be tested once a month, and we practice our fire drills twice a year or more.
All right, let's see what happens in the story. I'll read this page.
Okay.
My mom tests our smoke alarms, as you just said, Cindy, once a month, and we practice our fire drill twice a year or more. Why? Asked Pedro. To be prepared, said Mia. Smoke alarms warn us when there's a fire, and practicing our drill makes sure we can get outside where it's safe quickly. We test our smoke alarms first, then we practice escaping when they beep. I'll show you, she said. So here we're talking about practicing because it's really important because fire moves really fast, right? And we want to be able to be prepared to move when if a fire happens, we need to practice, right? So maybe you could give me an example of something that happens, Cindy, during a fire drill at school. I'm sure our audience that's going to watch this, they're going to relate to some of these things. Like, so at a fire drill at school, what are the things you practice there?
When a fire drill happens at school, what do? We get low and go. And we go as fast as we can to the meeting location that you have designated at your school. We all practice fire drills at school. So that is similar to doing a fire drill at home.
That's right. And you see how Mia's mom, she's pressing the button at the top and holding it and just checking where it beeps. That's how you check it. And you make sure a grown-up does that. And only the grown-ups should climb up the ladders and do that. I know that looks fun, but let's be safe, y'all, and only have the grown-ups do that. All right. And then the beep, 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 as I said, or more like beep, 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 high-pitched, can be really loud, but I don't know if we have an example. Will that one beep that you have? Does that have a battery in it?
It does, but it is very loud.
So we're not going to try
we just going to use our voices.
Okay, so we're not going to do that because sometimes they're hard to shut off. All right. Well, everyone needs to have one of those in their house, of course, or multiple ones depending on how big your house is. And Pedro and Mia are about to practice and see what this thing can do. So let's see what happens. I'm going to turn it back over to Miss Cindy.
Okay. Beep, beep, beep. When a smoke alarm goes beep, 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 you need to get outside in less than 2 minutes. If you see smoke, you get low and you go. So what do you do when you see smoke? You get low and go.
Go. There we go. I tried to demonstrate my get low and go.
All right. Good job.
There we go.
When the sound
listening.
goes off, everyone gets outside as fast as they can. Look at Pedro and Mia. They're getting low and go. They're getting low to the ground. Smoke rises up, so you go low and go. It's not good for you to breathe it in. So when you see smoke, you should get low and go. That means staying low to the ground, just like Mia and Pedro. Mia and Pedro are get low and go so they can prepare for home fires. Think it's time for us to practice that? So when you see smoke, smoke rises, and so we go low and go. So remember that. Get low and go.
That's a good place. That's a good reminder. Good reminder. And then you have a meeting place outside, right, where you know where to go, right? Isn't that the next part?
So to complete this activity, one of the things that we can do is that we have a fire drill. We practice a fire drill ourselves. We're going to be just like Mia and Pedro. We need a smoke alarm, which I have right here, and we need a meeting place. A meeting place is somewhere you and the members of your household choose to go when you get outside. It can be on the sidewalk, in front of your home, at your neighbor's house, or even further away because you want to be safe. It's up to you and your household to choose a meeting place together. Here's the smoke alarm I showed you earlier. When it goes off, what sound does it make? Beep, beep, beep. That's right. That sounds right. And here's our meeting place. It marks the X. That's the spot. A meeting place should be somewhere outside your home, safely away from your home and away from the fire. Today, we're just practicing. So we'll use this and we'll go home and we'll practice it with the grown-ups in our household. So choose your place outside and go there and practice with the grown-ups in your household.
All right. Great job, everybody. And we do a lot of art projects on Storytime. So I think you don't even have to have a fancy meeting place X like this. You could just put a big X and color it, and you could just use that and use that with your grown-ups and your caregivers. So when you get outside, like Mia and her mom and Pedro are doing here, go to your family meeting place and stay there until everyone is safe, it knows that you're safe. Thanks, Mia, said Pedro. I'm glad I learned what to do in case of a home fire. Now I know how to stay safe. Thank you, Pedro. Really appreciate that. Now, if we're looking at this picture, remember, we learned in the last, to get outside, we got low and we go and we get out, right? And we have a space where we're going to go. Sometimes it's a sidewalk in front of the home or a neighbor's house. For us, for my family, the Jawando family, it's our neighbor's house, the Silvermans. That's where we go. And everyone has to have a space. And the key thing is that you practice so everyone knows where to go. Because when things are going really fast, if you don't know, it's going to be hard to do it, right? So that's why we practice. All right, so once you're at your meeting place, like they said, like Mia did, we stay there until everyone's there and we know that everyone is safe. And that's really important. So I really know you all were paying attention because this was not only an important lesson, it was a fun lesson. and Miss Cindy and Pedro helped us out a lot. So anything, what else do we need to remember? And I know I covered a couple of points, but you can never say them too many times. And I know we've got another page. What else do you think we need to remember about getting low and going, Miss Cindy?
We also need to know that when we get low and go and we're safe, we need to call 911.
That's right.
And if you can, and give the person who answers your address. So we should all know our address so that we can get to where we are safely and the fire and emergency personnel can find us.
That's right. It's very important. And I think we have the next page is after everyone paid attention, after everyone called 911, you practice your fire drill with your family. And we talked about how sometimes people get excited, right? And nervous. And we're going to talk a little bit maybe about how we breathe. So do you want to read that one?
Sometimes when people get excited and nervous or scared, they start to breathe very fast. I know this happens to me sometimes when I'm afraid or I get a little nervous. This happens to most everyone in a time of an emergency too. Wow, practicing for emergencies is exciting, but it makes me feel nervous too. So I take big, slow breaths to calm down. In, breathe in slowly through your nose like me. Out. Then breathe out slowly through your mouth. After just 5 or 6 breaths, I feel better and start to relax. Let's try it.
I'm ready. I'm ready to do it with you. And
so I want everyone to practice along with me. Take a deep breath in, close your eyes, and blow out your mouth like you're blowing a candle on a birthday cake. Let's try this about 5 times. Okay, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. How do you feel? Do you feel a little relaxed?
Pedro and I almost fell asleep.
That's perfect. That's what it does. It helps you to relax. Everyone should be feeling relaxed now. And you can practice this anytime that you want to. It helps you to calm down, and you want to be sure the members of your household, tell them what you've learned so that they can be calm too in times of an emergency.
That's very important. Well, this was sure a lot of fun. We got to make a new friend. Mr. Mortimer got to meet Pedro, and we learned how to be prepared in case something happens and having a plan. And I want to thank you, Miss Cindy, and the American Red Cross for coming out and helping us practice how to prepare. And of course you, Pedro, because it was your story. If you think that Pedro did a good job, type me a message after you watch this episode, because I think he did a great job. I would give him 2 thumbs up, but let me know what you think. And remember, it's okay to be nervous or excited, but we learned a tool to calm down. And that calm down tool, we can use that anytime, not just in an emergency, anytime we feel a little anxious. So we're really excited that you all are watching this. This is on a Friday. It's a good weekend activity. So maybe this weekend with your parents or your caregivers, your aunts, your uncle, your grandma, ask them if they have a plan in case a fire happens at home. And if not, you tell them exactly what to do because you learned and Pedro taught you. All right. So I think we're ready to go.
Yeah, there's a few questions to wrap up to see if they remember anything that we just went over.
Go ahead. You shoot.
Okay. So prepare with Pedro we have a few questions that we want to ask you to see if you learned anything from Pedro. If you think the answer is yes, we want to see thumbs up. If you think the answer is no, we want to see thumbs down. Okay? Let me ask the first question. And it's a practice question. Today is Saturday. If you think the answer is yes, put your thumbs up. If you think the answer is no, put your thumbs down. It's thumbs down.
It's Friday.
Today is Friday, not Saturday. You guys did a great job. Okay, here's the first question. Should the smoke alarm be tested in Pedro's home? Put your thumbs up if you think the answer is yes. Put your thumbs down if you think the answer is no. Yes, great job. Pedro needs to test those smoke alarms at least once a month.
That's right. Why don't we go back and forth? I'll do the second question.
Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Should Pedro practice a fire drill? What do we think? If you think yes, put your thumbs up. Yeah, I think that's right. And we're not even going to say no because we know that that's right. We definitely should practice, right?
Yeah.
And that's how you know how to get out safely in an emergency, by practicing. Practice makes perfect, as they say. Next question. I'll kick it to you, Miss Cindy.
If Pedro sees smoke, should he walk slowly through it or get out? Put your thumbs up if you think the answer is yes. Put your thumbs down if you think the answer is no.
Remember, get low and
go.
That's right.
Yeah.
You gotta go fast.
Yes.
So we can get outside.
So just one thing to remember, if smoke goes up, you go down and get low and go.
That's right. All right, next question. Beep, beep, beep is the sound that the alarm makes. Put your thumb up if the answer is yes, or thumb down if it's no. Oh, Miss Cindy got it. She's like perfect on this. That's right. That's the sound that we know. We know when we need to kick into gear and have our plan and get low and go. Now, does a cow make that sound? No. Great job. That's right. Beep, beep, beep is the sound of an alarm. All right, and we've got one more question for you. You don't need to put your thumbs up or down for this. Instead, I want you all right where you are just to do something to show the answer to this one. So, Miss Cindy, I would like you all to show me what is the one thing we can do to stay calm. You're already doing it. That's right. Breathe. Great job. That's the thing you can do when you need to slow down, is breathe, like we learned. Well, this was awesome. I had a lot of fun. How about you?
This was a great job. Everyone did great, and it's so fun.
Yeah, I had a lot of time. And I like welcoming new people to Storytime. We have guests from time to time, so this was great. Well, thank you, and I hope all our viewers learned something, and that you have a great weekend. We're gonna sing I forgot to sing our welcome song because I was so excited to get started, but we're gonna sing our goodbye song, which is almost like our welcome song, so that way we at least sang it. So you guys can just hang out and watch. So it goes like this. We clap and sing goodbye. We clap and sing goodbye. With our friends at Storytime, we clap and sing goodbye. And then we wave and sing goodbye. We wave and sing goodbye. With our friends at Storytime, we wave and sing goodbye. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thank you for coming, Miss Cindy.
Thank you.